So, and you're saying that the Mongolian democracy is in decline. Do you want to explain more on that? Uh, how did it happen? Why Mongolia became in decline in this contemporary situation right now?
Yes. So, yeah, we know Mongolia is a nomadic country, nomadic history. We had no such a philosophical or sociological, psychological, political history. The nomads have no history.
Mhm.
There are, for nomads, is one day is like 100 years. so this modern Mongolia, in last session we spoke about, is a construction of China and Soviet Union. After Perestroika
Uh-huh.
collapsed, after Perestroika, after Gorbachev ended modern Mongolia. So after that, we had no idea where to go. So in Western countries came to Mongolia and said, make yourself your own Mongolia. So this Mongolia was feudalistic Mongolia, nomadic Mongolia. So and then we back to nomadic feudalistic Mongolia. And we called it democracy. Democracy,
So we called it.
yes, what is
Not a
democracy?
real.
Democracy is election in 4 years. Every 4 years, you have election. That's it. So this is, so in the nomadic people, how today's Mongolian former communist party, why they won every election? Because they are working with nomad people, with Hudonism, with Hudo people. The Hudo people electing our former socialist communist party. We are very few amount of how to say citizens, they can elect democratically. So very few people. We are 3 million people. Half of them are children. And you have
So the
one
Mongolian population is very young.
very, very young, very childish.
Yeah,
So, and one
my
point,
generation. I think it's my generation.
yes, and 1.5 million people are such, so not, how to say, understanding our whole situation. Of them are soldados, yes, nomads.
Yes, yes.
So in very, maybe 200,000 citizens are election able. They have free opinion. So how do you say about nomadic people? They are democratic.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yes, it's, and then so and 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 also on the other side, our social life is not so like Western countries. Mongolia has only two economic choices. One is mining, other is tourism. So only two. That's why young people going out abroad, because we have no industry.
Yeah.
No industry, no such businessman or such things. We don't have intellectuals or such people, studied people. We don't need studied people. We don't need educated people, because we have only mining. Mining is big Australian, Canadian, American companies owning mining, Mongolian mining. So Mongolian people are only, how to say worker. Engineers are from outside.
So
The nomads are workers. So on the other side, tourism. Tourism, we have only 3 months summer. Now here is April, like in winter, very cold outside. So we have only summer 3 months. In these 3 months, we have tourism. That's why it's difficult and normal to speak about normal social life.
I see. So we don't have the proper infrastructure for educated people to work in Mongolia at this very moment.
Yeah.
Either you do private business, or you work in a mining company, or third, you became a tour guide that brings the foreign tourists and do a tour guide to show our country.
Yes.
We have limited options at this very moment.
Yes. We have if coming tourists, we have to show only the nature. We have no arts, no architecture, no cities, beautiful cities. We don't have.
We only have the nature and the mountains.
Yes. And we have only two economic this situation. One is how to say below earth, and one is above earth.
So when we talk about these topics, we have Russia and China that makes our economic situation as of right now.
Yes.
But why don't Mongolia expand to other countries due to economic trade with other countries? So some people, they criticize or blame Russian people. So like a common critique is, well, President Putin is not letting Mongolia to build train racks. He's stopping us to build electrical station. Is Russia behind all these corruption? Is President Putin not letting us to build our own factories? Is he being a bully to Mongolia?
I'm the generation of socialist Mongolia, so I know that in socialist Mongolia was very modern. We had industry. So this industry is after perestroika privatized. Through privatization, all socialist, all industry sold to China. So and then.
Oh, so we sell it.
Yes. all these equipments of industry. We sold, made money, and you make with this money politics.
So what do you think about those private companies
Now,
like MCS?
these
Are they not?
they are big import companies. Import companies. Container companies.
So they don't produce anything.
No,
they
no,
just
no.
bring,
We importing,
bring.
or MCA or big companies are distributor companies.
Okay.
Distributor. Coca-Cola.
Distributor, yes.
Yes, there are
KFC, Pizza Hut.
Yes, distributor companies, Techniques, and so on. So they don't producing. For example, Monel. Monel is also distributing company. Refrigerator, television, all are.
Or Toyota cars.
Yeah, Land Cruiser, Jeep, Jeeps.
Yeah, just so you know, we love Toyota.
Yes,
we
that's
love Toyota.
why Mongolians are waiting if foreign companies ending with the production, and we buying and coming to home. We are waiting. Like so that's it.
So we're
on the other side, this is a very simple life. Why not?
very simple life. Yeah.
Shopping tour.
So yeah. But do you think Russia and China behind it? Is it their fault? Or is it our fault?
Mongolia is a very difficult situation because of mining. We have big minings, and Western capitalist countries are behind this mining. For example, Great Britain, England. So, and that's why all these Western companies are interested, or they want that we Mongolia against Russia and against China. Because if we are good relationship with Russia and China, Russian companies and Chinese companies coming here, and with good condition, they working here companies, Chinese and Russian companies are not so expensive like Rio Tinto. It's not expensive.
Okay.
Not expensive.
Yeah, it's not expensive.
That's why Western mining companies making so much political propaganda that the people are against Russia and against China. For example, George Soros, this is a big enemy of Russia and China. George Soros has here in Mongolia, Ulaanbaatar, a big Soros Foundation.
Oh, okay.
They are working on this. We are very in a crucial situation, very crucial situation.
So the contemporary Mongolia looks bleak and in decline.
Yes, we are now between three big imperia: China, Russia, and Western. Western. So today Europe is losing, so America. So Mongolia is between America, US, Russia, and China. Who is our friend? Who is our enemy? There is a book of a German philosopher, Carl Schmitt. And he said, today's enemy is tomorrow's friend. Maybe.
Yeah, that's a good phrase.
Yes.
Because
Today's
United
enemy
States and
can
Russia,
be friend tomorrow. Can be.
yeah, there's a saying that you have to keep your enemies closer as your friend.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
There is
So
also
speaking of friend,
a phrase. There is no friends, my friends.
does Mongolia have friends?
Oh,
Do you think?
we have only friends.
So Mongolia is in a very odd situation. My foreign colleagues or friends, they always ask us fellow Mongolians, you guys have superpowers in the north, Russia and China.
Yes.
How are you guys not part of China, let's say? Because our neighbor Inner Mongolia and Uyghur, they're part of China, but we're still standing independent.
Yes.
It's just very odd.
Yeah.
How can
1921 Soviet Union and China constructed this modern Mongolia. We are product of China and Soviet Union. That's why for us it's a big presence. We were so lucky. So Inner Mongolia is Chinese. Buryats are Russian. So we are between Buryat and Inner Mongolia.
Yeah.
Like a puffer zone, like a
Buffer zone.
yeah,
Buffer
buffer
zone.
zone.
Okay.
So sandwich is not good. This is the very bad definition. Sandwich. We are buffer zone. Buffer
Yes.
zone between two imperias.
Do you have hope
Yes.
in Mongolia?
At the moment, our life is okay. In the moment, we have no enemies,
At the moment?
no bombs, no bombing,
We're not at war.
no radicals, no religion problem.
Yes.
We have
Why did you say there's no religion problem?
because we have
Because previously you've been very critical of Mongolian religion, especially Tibetan Buddhism.
yes, yeah. The Mongolians are godless. We are godless people.
Are godless.
Godless. Also, Western countries have God, Jesus Christ. We have no God. We have no God. Nomads have no God. Nomads have only nature. Only nature.
So they worship nature as their creator.
So that's why we are not so religious radicals. There is no fundamentalist.
Yes. Do you think that's the reason why we don't have a strong moral values?
Yes.
Because of not having religion?
Yes, godless people have two characters. One side, because of godless, they are very free-minded.
Yes.
Very free-minded, very flexible. That's why
very nomadic.
Yes, that's why
we can adapt.
Good. That's why this Mongolian young people in outside in foreign countries, no problem. No problem. They take
like me.
They take the culture, higher culture. So, On the other side, such godless people are very dangerous. Very dangerous. You cannot predicting them because they have no logic, they have no morals. They don't know what is good and bad. That's why
that's the nature.
No responsibility. No, how to say, yes, no responsibility. That's why very dangerous, Mongol people. People without moral is very, very dangerous because they have no values.
I see.
On the other side, free-minded, very flexible. You can make with Mongols everything. Open. You're open. You put. No problem. Islam people,
that's ours.
Chinese people, Japanese people, you cannot put them. They are closed. We are open. On the other side, no morality. Very dangerous. Be careful to marry a Mongolian woman or Mongolian man.
Yes. Like I just did like a mini research on Mongolian psychological problems.
Yes.
So I think I've seen a statistics or a result that Mongolian divorce rate is pretty high amongst young couples. And also, in terms of psychological issues, especially men, Mongolian men, they have high rates of alcohol issues, addiction issues, even gambling. Right now, Mongolia is having a gambling issue. The government just made a legislation to make a rule on gambling situation.
Yes.
And I've just been going to the Facebook group where people are getting addicted. So I saw a lot of Mongolian youths who got addicted to gambling. They lost all their fortune, their money. They got divorced because of that.
Yes.
So from my perspective, I see that since we don't have a concrete value, we have this psychological issue of alcoholism, gambling, adultery. Because if you talk with men, when you talk to Muslim men, they're prohibited to drink alcohol.
They have God.
And
They have God.
Or when you talk to Hindu Indian guy,
yes,
they don't. They're scared of committing all these actions.
Yes, they are spiritual, very spiritual.
Very spiritual.
Yes, in Mongolia, the Mongols have no eye. In Germany, I studied philosophy in Germany. There is a word Überich, Overman.
Okay. Übermensch.
Yes.
Okay.
Übermensch, Überich. The Mongols have no eye. We cannot be tomorrow totally another man. Very fast to change.
Yes.
There's no this eye, this constant eye.
There's no direction.
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Okay. In German language, ich. In English, I. In French, je. That's it. That's why we have no. That's why it's very difficult in Mongolia to work as a psychologist.
Yes.
Yes, I tried some people to consulting psychological problems, but they have no eye. That's why they're lying. Every day they're lying. And you cannot catch who is she, he.
Oh, I see what you mean. So they can't even see their issues anymore.
Yes. It's very difficult.
Okay.
Psychologists
It's very
need
difficult.
I. From this,
Uh-huh.
you go down to unconsciousness and up über ich. How Sigmund Freud?
Do you want
Yeah,
to talk
Freud
about
had three
uh-huh.
ich. This awakening
You
conscious
need the
and then unconscious
ego, right?
and then über ich.
Yes. Superego. I think in English
Yeah,
they say
superego.
superego.
Yes.
Superego. Freudian. It's a Freudian term.
Yes.
That
That's
superego
why
is
I say
moral purpose. Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
That's why Mongolians have no ego. You cannot find ego. Mongol ego.
So we're like zombies then.
Yes, it's like teenager.
Like a kid. Okay. Not developed.
No. Not so. No, this. How to say that? There is also a philosopher. This Kohlberg. You know Kohlberg. Kohlberg. There was an American psychologist, and his book is there is moral steps. Moral steps.
Okay, moral steps.
Moral steps. So why how developing moral steps? In which age we are morality this or this? That's why we are in a teenager stage.
Okay.
So I work
so now
here
let's
in
switch
Ulaanbaatar only with teenagers. I give lectures to teenagers.
Yeah. Okay, so right now let's transition to a different topic.
Yes.
So currently, 2 weeks ago, there was a social media boom where there's a Japanese film director, Hayao Miyazaki. He's the producer of Studio Ghibli. So his studio creates cartoons and animation. So he draws all the pictures by hand. So to make one film, he spent several years to create this one particular film. So we're at this age of artificial intelligence. And 2 weeks ago, OpenAI company, they just launched their new system where we can say anything to the ChatGPT and it can draw anything that Mr. Hayao Miyazaki drew in the Studio Ghibli style in 1 second. And that took like 1 year of work. So right now, human labor became valueless. It became so priceless, where a robot or artificial intelligence can produce that work within a second. So you don't have to work hard anymore. You don't have to put all that effort. And from philosophical standpoint, we have a huge moral issue at this moment, a very huge ethical issue. And what do you see this current situation of artificial intelligence? Is it leading humankind to goodness or to Destruction.
So it's philosophers are never never spoke something good about human being.
Okay.
Humans are enemy of humans. So
We can be destructive
yes,
sometimes.
this artificial intelligence. This is the yes. Today, when we speak about what is human intelligence, what is our Timo, our here yes, future, like future, and so we see big job situation. This is a social situation. So many people jobless after this.
Jobless.
Yes, after this hype. This hype. So you said also priceless. The no value.
There's no value.
No value. No virtue. No emotion. Because
no emotion.
Yes, because art is coming from emotion, feeling, perception, and also thinking. Art is also thinking. So this Japanese man thought many years and worked many inspirations and so on, and many failure. Many failure.
Yes.
Failure. Many pessimism. I stop now, and so on. Very such situation. The human being is a product of such amount of emotional thinking. How to say chaos? From chaos, we are creative. We need chaos, not logic. So that's why it's very our no feeling, no emotion. What's then our life?
Yeah, might as well should be robots.
Yes, like robots. For example, we're talking now. So, we give, for example, a GTP below. ChatGPT. A question.
Yeah.
A question. I write a question to ChatGPT. And ChatGPT.
Yes.
Know already about me through artificial intelligence. This question coming from this stupid Mongolian philosopher. So yeah. How to ask to him?
Yes.
Then ChatGPT gives me, for my condition, for my character, this answer.
Yeah.
So
scary to think about.
Yes. It's like also in Google. You write a question in Google. So this summer I want to my how to say my here to Africa. So which country is for me the best? So 2 weeks, something like tradition and so ocean, water, and so on. Yes,
Yes.
and then dancing, and so in the evening, drinking cocktail, some beautiful black girls, and so yeah. So and then
Yeah.
gives you the answer. Go there.
Yes. So I think we lost the process on the way. And that particular process of drawing for many years, feeling emotions, failures, that process in itself is beautiful
Yes.
in some sense.
Yes.
It's what makes it art.
Yes.
All those processes
Yes.
and the concept of aesthetic.
Uh-huh.
I think it comes from that process,
Yes.
as I think.
Yes.
And computers cannot produce an art,
Yes.
or it cannot be an aesthetic creation.
Yes. Yes, because artificial intelligence is not educated. No education.
Yeah.
So children have from first class to the end of high school educated. All this up and down.
Up and down.
School time is only up and down. Mostly down. So in truth is you are at the end educated man. So artificial intelligence doesn't know this education process.
What it means to have an education.
Ups and down. Failure, happiness,
failure, success,
sadness, and so on.
Happiness, all those.
Yes, sadness and so and paranoia and hallucination, dreaming,
Yeah.
daydreaming,
Yeah.
night dreaming, horror dreaming.
Yeah.
Our brain,
Yes, that's
our
what
mind,
makes life beautiful.
yes, our mind is such a chaotic process. We cannot think of thinking. We always we are thinking.
Yes. Always. The mind is always busy.
No interrupting. Always thinking. So that's why our next this topic you have written this about Buddhism, yes? In this Buddhism,
yes,
they want to stop our thinking.
Yes.
Because we every day from morning to evening thinking about illusion, stupid things.
Yeah. Yes.
Stupid dreams. So that's why you need this meditation, yoga, and so on.
Yes. Okay, since you talked about yoga, I'm gonna ask our last question this day. So, I watched Mollered 10 years ago, and I discovered it on YouTube. So, Mr. Mollered, he finished his PhD in Germany, so he's mostly Western educated. He studied the German philosophies, Kant, Schopenhauer, Hegel, all those Western
Terrible.
So now, Mr. Moller, so now you are more transition to the Eastern philosophy. You're learning more about them, right?
Yes.
Taoism, Islam, and Hindu philosophy. And the situation of
Chinese,
Mongolia
also
is
Chinese,
where Chinese philosophy, right?
ancient
So
Chinese.
Mongolia is in the middle, ancient.
Yes.
So Mongolia is in the middle.
Yes.
We have Western philosophy, we have Eastern philosophy.
Yes.
In our culture, for our people, which philosophy is closest to us to adopt?
To Mongolia. Neither.
To Mongolian people.
Neither.
Okay.
This Western philosophy is very logical and very reasonable, and too much thinking, too much writing, and so on. Too much books. There are thousands of philosophy books, thousands of philosophers,
Mm-hmm.
and this culture is very. This culture, this Westernness, or this Germanness, they want to be stressed.
Yeah.
This is a stress culture.
Yeah.
So, on the other hand, Eastern Asian philosophy is very meditating, sitting, no stress, against stress. Very, how to say, very very friendly, to say this, tolerant, very tolerant.
Very patient.
Yes, tolerance,
Yeah.
tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
So, we, nomad,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have to survive because of the winter. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm. Kudo. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Yes. It's a very unique situation, the Mongolians. Okay. So thank you for the joining our session, our second podcast for the day. So in this next episode, we will talk in depth of Mongolian philosophy, Hudonism. What kind of philosophy does Mongolia should lead? And I think it's good direction to create our own philosophy and study and analyze our Mongolian way of being. Okay. Thank you guys and see you guys next week. Thank you. Thank you. За, рекорд хийгээд болцсон шүү.